Hello and welcome to gaming and welcome to the retro review. Now today we are looking at the first game in the Red Dead series, Red Dead Revolver. Now I always knew about this game but I never knew how well it linked into the Redemption series, and it's a kind of a loose link, I guess. Now the original production of the game was headed up by Angel Studios and they were contracted with Capcom. But eventually they were bought out by Rockstar and became Rockstar San Diego. So that's how the Red Dead series became a Rockstar game. So we're going to dive into it and take a look at how the game holds up today. It was reviewed favourably back when it released in, I think, 2003, 2004. It had fair reviews, sort of 70%. So let's see how it holds up now.
So the game takes place in 1880s Wild West era. The game starts with the training mode so you can get used to the gun mechanics. Shortly following this, Colonel Darren turns up to kill your mother and father. Your mother is a Native American. This plays into the story later on. You manage to shoot Colonel Darren's left arm off with one of the guns that he has arrived to steal. The gun has a significant role within the story. Hold on a minute, I've got to turn the brightness up. This game is dark as shit. I don't know if it's because I'm on a modern TV, or if the game's just that way, but there's no way I could have played in this darkness. The story picks up years later as Red has now become a bounty hunter. Through meeting various characters and travelling to different areas, Red gets a lead on those who killed his parents years previous. There's further gun training later on, especially when it comes to the quick draw shooting events. It's a good job that these are explained because they would be very confusing otherwise, and even so, later in the game I was still a little bit confused as how to get by these segments. So most of the game is basically just shooting at enemies, but there is a little bit of variation in the level design, such as being able to just do your standard kind of level, or these types of levels where you're on a moving vehicle. In between every few missions, you can go to Brimstone, and this is a time to unwind, and you can go and buy items that you need, or even upgrade weapons. You can even talk to some of the NPCs, like this paperboy. Doesn't he look like Dwight Schrute from that episode of The Office? What's going on with his face? So this game is absolutely brutally difficult. I found it really hard, and there was a lot of segments where I died over and over again, and probably the first section of this was the Pig Josh level, and I see online that this is a commonly searched level. Eventually, once I got the pattern down though, it wasn't too difficult. If he gets near you though, he will blow you like halfway across the level. There's these loading screens where the characters swivel their guns around and do fancy tricks. Who do they think they are? Ocelot. Look, Jack Swift does a dab. Also, you get to play as different characters, which is something interesting to note considering the game's called Red Dead, named after the lead character Red. You actually do get to play as various different characters throughout. This level here in the mountains, listen to that music. It sounds like Star Wars to me. Red eventually takes on Bad Bessie, and she was quite tough as well. She has a lot of support from other enemies, and it was hard to really get it nailed down on hitting her and not getting distracted by the others. Next up, you get to play as Annie Stokes, and she's defending her farm. She owes money, and some bad guys are coming to try and get that off her and take her farm away from her. During this part, you get to ride a bull, and this is a little bit more gameplay variation. It helps with travelling around faster to kill the enemies. Later on, Red gets into a barroom brawl, and this bit went on forever. It took so long to punch all the enemies down. It was starting to really annoy me. Following this, you take on another boss, and what you're supposed to do is get him to run and hit the wall, so then you can shoot him once he runs into the wall. But I was finding that he wasn't actually slamming into the wall, so I was really confused about what to do. Eventually I learned that you could jump up on stage and you would run into that, so this was a good cheap tactic to get through this one. The section on the bridge between Mexico and the US was the hardest part for me. I hate missions where you have to protect NPCs, and it seemed like these ones, their health got drained so quickly. This really did take me legitimately about 2 hours to get through. It's so difficult. He's captured and sent as a slave labourer to the mines, and it's here where he meets some of the other characters that lead into the story, such as the Buffalo Soldier and his Native American cousin. He fights his way out of this section, and eventually you run into a skeleton who you can buy items off. That was weird. Why wouldn't you just take items off the skeleton? This really confused me. Once you're out of the mines, you go to attack Colonel Darren again, and he has these massive cannonballs that he shoots out of a tiny cannon. That was really strange. Once you've dealt with Colonel Darren, you then go and take on the Mexican general, and he's on a train, a moving train, and you've got to hunt him down. Basically, all you've got to do on this level is get to the front of the train and shoot up the engine. Following this, you'll have a big standoff where the Mexican general will shoot at you on a Gatling gun, and you basically just got to avoid that and hit him until he dies. So at this point I thought I'd ended the game, but you go back to Brimstow and you hear more tale of a battle royale. Yes, there's a battle royale in this game, like 10-15 years before battle royales became really popular, but it's not the one that you're thinking of. It's basically a quick draw competition. I was getting a little bit nervous here because I thought we would have to do this to our friends that we've made throughout the story, because they all enter the battle royale as well as Red. But soon the governor takes over proceedings and tries to have Red killed. It's revealed that the governor is the one that's been plotting all the events of the game. You basically survive the attack from him and his cronies, and then you go after him in his mansion, and the NPCs come with you. During this you get kind of like mini bosses all the way throughout. Like this guy, for instance, Randy, he's a little bitch. He keeps ducking behind this water fountain. I could barely hit him. You have to keep ducking left and right to get him to pop out. Once you've gone through the mansion and cleared out all of the enemies, you lead to the rooftop where the governor is waiting for you. Now this bit was fairly easy, you just shoot him up, but it leads off to a quick draw segment. Without any warning, he just throws you in like, look, I had no chance there. So get ready to hit retry. And these quick draw segments, as I was saying earlier, you kind of have to do them in a certain sequence. It's a little confusing, and until you figure them out, you'll die over and over. I freely admit that I had to look up some of these segments. And that's the end of the game. Red sort of rides off into the distance. There is showdown modes, and you can unlock things for this. That's a little bit of a post-game that you can do. It's kind of just like a shoot 'em up. You can do this with friends, I guess, and it gives the game a little bit of longevity.
So that's Red Dead Revolver. A really difficult game, and as if it wasn't hard enough, at the end, when you've beat it, you unlock a hard mode. Like, I struggled so much for some of these segments in this game. I don't know if the game's held up very well, to be honest. I think the graphics have aged really badly, kind of like a lot of Rockstar games have done. The difficulty is incredible. I can't see any casual gamer getting into this. And I think ultimately what I would say was, if you want to play an old Red Dead game, play Red Dead Redemption 1. It's better than this one. Okay, that was the retro review. I hope you guys liked it, and make sure to subscribe because we have lots of videos incoming. I'll see you in those.